Hi, this is Bobby Collins. Welcome to Bobby's Viral Friends. I have two wonderful comedians. My first comic, she's a broadcaster. She's a funny lady. She had her own show called Daughter of a Garbage Man. She's a radio personality. She's got a show on Facebook Live called Hanging with Langan. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome Maureen Langan. Maureen.
Hello, in the house. Thank you, Bob.
And our next guest, he's a handsome man. He won America's Got Talent.
No, he didn't.
And he was the finalist, but we don't consider dogs winning. So to me, he's a winner. He's been on all the talk shows. He's got a book called Bad Dad, A Guide to Pitiful Parenting. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Tom Cotter. Tommy!
Greetings.
There you go. Oh, guys, it's good to see you. I know we're going through so much. I mean, today's been a rough day for me. I mean, I had to do errands. I had to go to Costco. I had to buy 4 tires. We only need 2. Yeah, but you get a better deal with 4. And then I went over and the guy, as I'm driving, a guy hit me backing out and I got in an accident. And I'm going like this. Oh, my God. You know what I mean? It's just...
Insane, man. Insane.
Nobody hurt, though, right? In the accident,
nobody's hurt. Nobody's hurt. Just your feelings and you go, are people that distracted with everything going on?
Yes.
Well, Trader Joe's. If it's Trader Joe's, people are like hankering to get in there, you know? Could have been that.
Oh my God. And you guys are both in New York area?
I am.
Yeah. I live in New York City, but I left there to come out to be with my Sicilian lover in California before this all hit.
Oh, excuse me. I miss New York. I still have my apartment there. The other night I was watching television and my wife and I are watching a parade, a demonstration. And then the next thing you know, she said, Bobby, that's our block, 12th Street. And we see a fire engine cutting through the crowd. And there's a car on fire in front of our building. I call up the doorman in the building. He goes, Bobby, I can't talk. There's a car on fire. Can you hear the fire engines? I see it on television. Oh my God.
It's insane, man. That's why my friend's a nurse, and she said, Langan, get out of New York. It's going to be like Italy in a couple of weeks. So I did. Yeah. And I'm in the middle of nowhere, and you go hiking, and people will be like, quarter mile. They'll jump into a tree because they're so afraid of seeing another person, and they throw their masks on. I'm like, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right.
Yeah, I went to a grocery store the other day wearing a mask, and only a mask. And I'll tell you, they get right out of the way for you. I had the entire aisle to myself, the whole store to myself, and it was perfect. No shirt, no shoes, no. Who cares?
Just the mask.
Just the mask. I looked hot. So wait a minute, Maureen, you're not in New York then right now?
No, I'm out north of San Francisco.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were back in the city.
I am back in New York, but I'm out here during this nuttiness, which kind of sucks because my father's sick and you can't go visit. The whole thing, blah blah. Hospital. That's insane. But I think the most painful thing about all of this is I can't get my Girl Scout cookies from my niece, so I have to donate them to the local hospital. But desperate times call for desperate measures. So
that's true.
Hey, I'm out here in Santa Monica, California. This place blew up.
Yeah.
Blew up with all the stores now. Santa Monica. You can't see more white privileged people than here. And every store is boarded up. And we're driving around, Jill. I go, Jill, I'm a New Yorker. We got to go see what's going on. We're driving around. People are banging in windows. Looters are jumping in. My wife takes her camera out. She goes, I'm filming you. I got you on. I'm going, shut up. They might have a gun.
So how badly hit was Santa Monica, Bobby?
Bad, real bad. Every store right now is boarded up. Every store.
I saw that on the news, and they knew it was coming, and they couldn't do it because I guess they were talking about it online. Because these are organized looting things. And in Manhattan, if you go up and down Madison or Fifth Avenue, all you see is plywood.
Right.
You know what I found when I was like the kids I went to high school with that were the worst kids ended up being cops. It was weird. The kids who were the troublemakers always became cops, and they loved that. that power thing. And even when I was a cop on Nantucket, which clearly is not a hotbed of crime activity, we still had cops that people called Hitler Youth because they just got off on how many tickets they could write in a day. And they went out of their way to make people's lives miserable. There are only a few of them. Most of the guys were great. But you're going to have that in everything, in every department, in every field. You're going to have a few douchebags. That's the way it works.
When we were kids, Tom, honest to God, when we were kids, all the delinquents, the bad kids, they had a choice. You either go into the army or you go to jail, right? They all took the army. So we knew the level of those, or they went into the police department.
Or they went from their military service right into the police department because that was a good
because there was camaraderie, they were protected, and they had make more money than if they were doing something on the street.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sad. That's why I like this movement. I think it's positive. I think it's opening up people's eyes. We're comics. We hold up a mirror and show the audience themselves. Now we're holding up a mirror, and looking at themselves. I think that's positive.
You know what? The other thing I love about the whole thing, I'm sorry, Maureen, is that when you watch these big protests, 40% of the people are white. I mean, when I saw Ferguson, it seemed to be all black. It was all Black Lives Matter, occasional sprinkle of a white person in there or an Asian person. Now it's almost 50%, it seems, Caucasian, which really I think is a unifying thing. And that's the one silver lining that I really love about this bleak cloud.
Well, there's two things I wanted to bring up. One is I want to put voting tables. I literally reached out to the League of Women Voters this weekend and said, can I help put tables so people can register to vote at the beginning of these rallies? And secondly, I was reading, I had this book. What is it called? It's about Reconstruction after the Civil War, Forever Free. And the fella he was being interviewed by Terry Gross, just happened to be at the same time I'm reading this weekend, and I had the book forever. And he said, freedom, we all want freedom. But he said, sweeping generalization, when you ask what white people about freedom, they don't want it taken away. When you ask Black people about freedom, they want freedom.
Right.
And I thought, wow, what an interesting dichotomy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maureen, that was very deep.
It breaks my heart when I see a little Black kid on television saying, I don't want to be next, not me next. And I'm going, oh my God, that's how it was. And I'm just hoping, because ever since our lives, they've always put a Band-Aid on it. Once something else came, they ripped the Band-Aid off. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that the Band-Aid stays on now, because discrimination, we've seen it. We're white. We've seen it like you can't believe. Thank God we're in a field where we sit in the back with Black comics, Puerto Ricans, Chinese, and there's nothing.
Occasionally a woman.
Okay. A woman.
Occasionally.
I lived in Harlem for 5 years. We owned a little co-op up there, the wife and I would come out on the sidewalk and the doorman would laugh because I would get a cab right away. And then other residents would come out and watch cabs go by them, 50, 100 cabs go by before they got picked up.
Is that true?
I swear. And I used to say, that was my white privilege. I felt guilty about it. I'd walk a block away so that I would get a cab down there because they felt...
Bitch. You know what you could have done? You could have hailed to the other people and said, here you go. Get in my cab
first.
I
have things to do, Maureen. I don't have all day.
We got Maureen. He had shit to do.
Got to get to Nantucket and give somebody a ticket for an ice cream cone.
That's right. And I also, I know that when I walk into, I watch it. I walk into a store and I walk around and another Black guy my age, same education, maybe better education, walks in and they watch him walk around the store and they don't watch me. Well, I could be just as much of a thief, more probably. I'm a dirtbag, but why are they focusing on that guy? It's so, the grass is always greener. Not in this case. I
need sneakers too, Yeah.
Well, I wanted to catch a pair of Jimmy Choo's shoes during all that loitering, but I left New York.
Looting, not loitering.
Did I say loitering? Looting. I have the cop. I have the Nantucket cop. And loitering. I'm loitering over there.
Tom, where in New England are you from?
My mother's uterus, which is warm and moist. Hello, Tom Cotter, a beer all week. I am from Providence, Rhode Island.
My God, my family comes from Swansea.
Quit bragging. I love Swansea. Swansea's
little
great.
Town outside of Providence.
Now, I know Collins sounds like an Irish or a British name, but you're Italian, aren't you?
No. Matter of fact, I'm the whitest kid in my family, and we've, you're not going to believe this, there's been people from Ireland that I've seen, even at the Comedy Cellar, performing upstairs, playing music And there's been different places I've been around the country, and they go, "You're the comedian. Why don't you learn about your heritage?" You know, Collins was the what's his face?
Michael
Yeah.
Collins.
Michael Collins. That's it. Yeah.
Michael Collins is I'm a direct descendant from them.
I was at
Liam Neeson played him in the film.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Longford, County Longford is where his fiance, Kitty Kiernan, was from. And when I was traveling there a couple of years ago, and I've been there a million times, but we just stopped to get lunch and at this old hotel, and that's what his fiance, their family owned it, and they had all this memorabilia from the two of them, just in the middle of nowhere. But my cousin, who's a cop, he's retired cop, Patterson, New Jersey, Kevin Collins, and his sister Tara is married to his good friend Tara Collins, is married to a cop. So all these Collins cops. But are you the lightest or the darkest in your family, Bobby?
Me, I'm the darkest. If you saw my family, they're like you guys. You can't get much white. People would be like,
Yeah.
like white.
That's us.
How about Horseneck Beach?
Oh, I know Horseneck. Yeah, I love Swansea. I love that whole area. I love going back there. You know, I miss it.
Still go back. I still go back.
My family's all around there. My three sisters are all around Providence in different areas, and it's still home for me. But as you know, there wasn't a big booming comedy scene there. Periwinkles. You ever work Periwinkles back in the day?
No, I didn't.
That was the only one, and it went the way of the dinosaurs. So you either had to move an hour north to Boston or 3 hours south to New York. And I went to Boston first and then went back to New York. And when I was in Boston, you had tons of TV credits, but you were the face of Certs at the time. You were the Certs guy. And I remember Bill Blumenreich used to put on your posters the Certs guy. That was the big. You had all these other great credits, but he put the Certs guy, and we still packed the room. So
we thought that was the most ridiculous thing. I was talking to Tim Allen recently, and Tim said, "Bobby, the rumor about you was everyone knew that you worked at Calvin Klein during the day and did comedy at night. But the rumor was that you were a Calvin Klein underwear model." I went like this. Are you out of your fucking mind?
I'm Irish. I don't want him modeling underwear.
Thank
That's
you.
not right.
Thank you. And I'm not a big man. I'm not. But that area, Swansea, Somerset, Fall River.
I remember the Braga Bridge, which is the bridge that goes over the Taunton River to Fall River, had a big sign when I was a kid. It said lonely, depressed, suicidal, because everyone used to jump off that bridge. That was the big suicide bridge.
What's that ship underneath it?
Oh, yeah, the Battleship Cove is right there. So
that's
Battleship, the submarine, all that stuff. We've toured those.
I had a kinship to you.
Yeah. It's our place of our birth.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? Mo, what's up?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Get back into this, Mo.
Love Fest. Well, I grew up in Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey, and there's no lake. How about that?
That's pretty cool.
Oh.
But there's a Hiawatha. What the hell's a Hiawatha?
The shores of Gitchigumi, shining big sea blue. Story of Hiawatha. I don't know. No, I was just going to ask Tom, are you Irish descent as well or no?
County Cork. Yeah, there's a town called Cotter. Cotter is a derivative of one who lives in a cottage, which means a poor person. And the quick story is the Vikings came down on their way to rape and pillage in Southern Europe, and they dropped off families as collateral. They dropped off literally people and said, we're on our way to rape and pillage. We're going to come back with tons of loot. We'll drop off the loot, pick up the family, and we'll all be on our way. Well, the fuckers never came back. They just dumped us there. And so we are kind of Scandinavian with mostly Irish, which apparently a lot of people are.
Oh, wow.
And what about you, Bobby? Where's your family from? Do you know your descendants? I know you know your
They were from Cork, somewhere.
Go ahead.
When my wife and I, we went to Ireland, we were treated like kings because people knew you're that comedian from the United States.
Oh, very cool.
And I just couldn't believe how much beer these people drank. I mean, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was like, no, I'm good, thanks. But these people, come on, have a beer, Bobby, have a Guinness.
My mother never had a drink until she came to America. She said they picked her up off the boat in the Hudson River, and they took her to a pub. Jesus. Then they went to a Chinese restaurant the next week, and you know how they give you the teacups? She's like, can I have one with a handle, please? Because she couldn't believe they're drinking tea without a handle. But I said to her, what stood out to you most when you came to America, your first day? What just the first thing? When she said the buildings, and she said people, I'd never seen black people in my life. How would I? We were all leaving Ireland. No one was coming.
Yeah,
But
right.
he says, truth be told, what stands out to me most, this is so funny. I get to me Aunt Mary's house on East 68th Street. I walk in the door, and what should I see right there next to the kitchen? An indoor bathroom right there next to the kitchen. I couldn't believe my eyes. Disgusting. Putting a toilet right next to where you eat. Jesus, we didn't have much on the farm, but we had the good sense to go out back and do our business far away from our food. That's a really interesting, like,
That is.
It is.
right?
It is.
Because she had one of the kids, no running water.
Last night I was doing a podcast from a guy from Bangladesh, and I was there performing, and like 10 years ago, and he's the head of a talk show. He's like the only Johnny Carson over there, and he asked me if I would be honest. And everything we spoke about, 11 o'clock, 13-hour time difference. I did at 11 o'clock. I was tired. I wanted to go to bed. But I sat up there. He talked to me very much politically.
Really?
Everything was politics because how they look at us, the United States. And he was talking to me about it. He goes, Bobby, do you include politics in your comedy? And I said, yeah, always. I'm a comic. Do you guys? You do.
Yeah. Well, you have to now. I mean, it's the elephant in the room. So, yeah, I think y'all have to. But I get asked to do gigs where they say, please don't. More now than I've ever had that. Ray Ellen has the Aruba Ray thing, and we do his shows. And he asks everyone to not do politics because I guess the divisiveness has caused him problems in the past.
Have you guys been performing? I haven't done any stand-up since all of this because I don't know how to make it work through. I don't know if I want to do it through the .com. How have you guys been finding that?
Oh, no, I've been canceled for the last 3 months. I'm missing out on 27 shows. I start again in July. And again, I don't know. I called up Harris. Yeah, I called up Harris in Lake Tahoe and I said, hey, are we going to, they go, we're opening, but we don't know about entertainment. Can we let you know in about a week? I go, sure, because I need to know about my airline tickets. You know what I mean? Or should I drive? I don't know how all this is going to work.
Yeah, I've been doing these Zoom shows, and Maureen, they are no fun. I don't know how many of those you've done. They're weird because you can't hear the laughter. They try to unmute 10 people, so you do hear some laughter, but you always hear the baby crying or the dog barking in the background, and you can't send a bouncer to their house. And I literally had to listen to a guy negotiate the tip on a delivered pizza for 5 minutes. And he had no idea. He was just aloof, and it's not his fault. But that's the kind of mess. It's not nearly the same, and of course the pay is dramatically less. So I'm doing it just to kill time, but it's not a lot of fun. And I hope this isn't the new normal. Not for long.
And I have a fear. I have a little fear about. Honestly, I was watching old tapes of mine because I haven't performed in 12 weeks. I haven't been home for 2 weeks in 40 years, and I'm like. Maybe I should just, what was the bit, honey? What was the bit I used? I can't remember. And friends of mine, Bobby, as soon as you get up, it'll come. No, it won't. I'm getting older now and I don't know. And I'm AOL. I got a walker.
But too, what concerns me about it, and I don't know where to go with this. I'm so sick of the polarization, even though I feel very strongly about my views, very strongly about them. I did an innocuous joke, Cape Cod. I said, Trump does read. He loves the classics, Lord of the Lies, Nasty Little Women, and Catcher in the Pussy. This is before the, F you! And the woman gets up, he's my president. I go, well, don't let the door slam you in the pussy on the way out. But the thing is, it's people get insane. So I don't want that. But the material I am doing pre-virus feels so irrelevant to me overall.
Right.
So I don't know how to bridge that gap or where I'm going to go with it. And I don't want to get into. I mean, look, a silly thing has had. They closed the golf clubs. The golf places.
Right.
The virus here. Had they done it sooner, my marriage might have lasted. Okay, but bam. That's an easy one because now that it's opened again, I'm wondering if he still kept me on. If I'm still the beneficiary because he could die. But these are things that you can work out that are innocuous. They're easy enough. But how do you go from talking about reality shows and into where we are now? It's just such a different.
I thought we were unbelievably divided before this. I thought it was a very strange time. I thought the political correctness pendulum had swung so far that people were, getting outraged at any syllable you utter. And I felt like I was walking on eggshells maybe the last year leading up to COVID. And just now during the protests, someone put out a list of comics who should be banned, people should shun. And Kevin Brennan is on it, and Aaron Berg, and they're promoting this on social media. And it's a list of 10 comics, Nick DiPaolo, a few other guys, and a bunch of people I've never heard of, saying that we should shun them and ban them. And I think that's a weird time for this country, that if comics are really being censored like that, it's
how you handle things. You know, I always show both sides. I've performed at the White House. So I was brought up in New York. Politicians to us were total jokes. It was all about the money. Everything's that comes down to the damn money. So I would show both sides, red, blue, Republican, and show how ridiculous it all is, because it's all about the heart. It's the inside out, not the out. And then there were times when I was in a big theater not that long ago, and somebody stood up in the middle and they said, "Goodbye, Bobby Collins, goodbye." And everyone stops. We're looking up, 1,200 people. I'm looking, and he goes, "Take care, no more. I'm not coming to see you." You know, because he said something about Trump. I said something about Trump. And I looked at the audience, and I just looked at him and I said, "You know, when you're dead, you don't know you're dead. Other people feel the pain. Same thing when you're stupid." And they applauded, and we all kept going on. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, but you know, this list thing is very frightening to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but look who's doing it. Somebody.
That's what I want to know. Who's doing this stupid list?
The name wasn't recognizable to me, but if you go to Kevin Brennan on Facebook, you'll see that he's having a field day with it. He's embracing it. He put out his own list, you know, as a rebuttal. But I just think we're in a weird place, and we were before this whole thing happened, and now it's even stranger. And for comics to be, you know, everything's a slippery slope now, right? Our whole thing is we're supposed to mock things and lampoon things, and you can't mock the president when that's what we've always done. You know, since Saturday Night Live made fun of Ford falling down the stairs, you've been able to mock the president and get away with it. Now you can't, and you can't do the other side either. I mean, you really can't skew the left. People get very uptight, and we're so divided as a country, which is why Vladimir Putin is laughing every day. But it's just an awkward time for comics and everybody, I think.
Well, people are the political, like even they whatever school nixed Ivanka Trump from speaking at the school.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't want to hear her at my school. But you know what? Like, let her speak. Let her, you know, let people go or not go. Like, I don't know. Fundamentally, shutting people up, no matter how much you like or hate them, I think it's just such a basic American right to speak freely, even because I want the right to be offended. I want the right to go, "Oh, I don't like that. Not for me. Change the channel. Not for me. See you later." But I don't want somebody else to decide that it's right for me or not right for me.
So what are we going to talk about now going forward on the stage? The pandemic and how we've been home, and what was that like? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody will. So where do we go from there?
I'm writing things that my friends are laughing at me. When I was in New York last time, I walked by a lingerie store, and I was looking. I haven't seen a lingerie store, and they had the garter belts and the stockings and the see-through bra push-up and the panties. And now I'm thinking, with my wife during the pandemic, she looks like an Eskimo. She's got the double flannel pajamas. She's even got a backpack with goggles and rope. See what I mean? We're moving.
Yeah.
What we're doing home. Bobby, what are you sucking on? It meant. Why do you have to be so loud? Why don't you ever put the toilet seat down? It's all coming since we've been home.
I just, I haven't been, feeling very funny, because having been a journalist for many years and watching people having bullets and the right to protest, it's just paining me at such a core as an American, so much so. And I tend to have to be very honest and very angry at first to find the funny in it, and then So, but who knows? Maybe it's good to just, this is where we're at. You'll be where you are when you're at there. What are you going to do?
Do you ever get to a subject that's so visceral, so that hurts you so much that you can't make it funny, that you just won't go into it?
No.
Oh, interesting.
No. Matter of fact, when I went down on that march, I marched in Washington back then. We were the old hippies, peace, love, tie-dye. But I asked my daughter, I go, "I'm going to go down to this march for a little while. I'm not going to stay long." She goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." And I go, do you want to come with me? And we went down, and I just couldn't believe the mixture, like you said. I think there were more white people than I saw. And I was like, whoa, right? And I'm walking, and then all of a sudden there was a real, I got an emotional, and I don't get but I got an emotional like, oh, wow, look at this. People finally care. They want to hear their voice. And then I turn on TV last night, and I'm going, Jill, 20,000 in Los Angeles on Hollywood Boulevard, 20,000. Oh my God.
Philly had a huge one. Was it yesterday or the day before? Philadelphia had a gigantic crowd for one of the
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
This is getting big. This is bigger than us, guys. And I kind of like it because of the way we were brought up. And to see it, and I'm going, yeah, there's got to be some change. Growth means change. Change doesn't always mean growth. When you grow as a country, you change things about how it's run. And what better? Look, you have a pandemic. You have civil unrest. What's next? An asteroid crashing into us?
Could be.
They come in threes, Bobby. I hope you're wrong.
I know.
But I'm just curious because he just asked you if there are things you won't do or too painful. Are there for you, Tom?
I don't know if it's there are certain things like I don't talk about when I was a cop on Nantucket. It's not that that it's too painful for me. I just don't want the audience to know that I ever was a cop, because I think it'll shut them off from what it'll devalue whatever I'm going to say next or whatever. And unfortunately, I just feel that's the way. And
that's coming from your head.
Oh yeah, probably.
I'm from an audience. It's making more of value for what you're saying.
Maybe. And there are some things that I just, I was a private investigator for a while. I don't do jokes about that. I don't, yeah.
You know what's interesting though? I'm hearing you say this, but just because of what we're talking about, I found it so interesting when you said that you were a cop and then you were talking about the big guys or, there's a few, and then Nantucket, I pictured, ice cream cones, you know how it is. And then I'm thinking and when I was just thinking that's such a great juxtaposition to all the anger and pain that's going on.
Sure.
About that on the
Look at that point of view.
I've written shit. I've just never done it. Then maybe that's just my own, as Bobby says, my own little mental block. Who knows? But we all have our own things.
Do it.
Yeah.
At one point in my life, I was an actual cop in Nantucket.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm here in California right now. Hey, Tom, these people, they're over here. I wonder if there's going to be a red carpet next week. Is it canceled? Is it all going to be canceled? They have celebrities on television doing commercials going, hey, be safe. They're standing in mansions, places that their pool is bigger than my apartment in New York, and they're telling us to stay home and wear a mask. Shut the fuck up.
You still have your apartment in New York on 12th Street, though.
Yes, you remember.
Now, it's all safe and sound, right? Everything's good?
Except for that car fire last week. Yes, it's fine. It
wasn't your car, Bobby. Who gives a shit? If it wasn't your car, who cares?
Right. You're right. See? And I miss it.
You don't drive an NYPD car, so who cares?
I miss New York. I love New York.
New York misses you.
I've lived in that same place for 38 years.
Jesus Christ. You rent it out now, or do you just, is it laying
No, I pay, matter of fact, I bought the apartment next door. So my and I have a 40-foot deck now.
Wow.
And 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and I just love it. And now it's worth about $11.65. But
not true. Although there is a huge flight. Everyone's leaving the city now. Everyone's leaving Manhattan. You can't touch real estate in Connecticut now. Fairfield County, Greenwich, they're all moving there because they're all freaked again.
Not New Jersey, because it's got the highest taxes besides California in the land.
I know.
How do you like living from Providence and that whole area? How do you like living in that, in New York?
I lived in Tribeca. I lived on the Upper East Side for a long time. 6-floor walk up. And then,
shit.
That was the worst. It really was.
That was by York, right? By York? You were over by
Yeah. 79th in York. And Carrie was pregnant. And
how did you carry the furniture up?
oh, we would get, Bobby, you'd get to the bottom of the stairs and you realize I forgot my keys or my phone, and you'd have an aneurysm because you got to climb right back up 6 flights and come down again.
Right.
It all sucked. We'd come back from vacation after Christmas, visiting our family. We'd have gifts. We'd have to lug that shit all the way up. It blew. And then we moved 1 floor down to a 5th floor walk up, and we thought it was nirvana just because we didn't have that one flight. But then we bought a co-op in Harlem. We loved that, but that we got pregnant with our 3rd kid and knew it was time to get out of Dodge, and we bought out here in the burbs, and we love it out here. It's I can make it into the city in less than 45 minutes on a good day. It can also take me 2 hours on a bad day. It's all about the.
Are you in Westchester area?
It's across the river. Yeah, I'm across from Ossining, so it's
nice.
We drive in, and we got the new Mario Cuomo Bridge, which happens. It's brand new, and I love it. I love where we are. It's great.
I still remember that bridge. What's it called? Staten Island. Got to go to Staten Island.
The Verrazano.
$18.
Yeah.
$18.
And what's the pot of gold at the end of that rainbow? Staten Island.
I remember the first time I went there to work, I forget the name of the club. There was a comedy club.
Uncle Vinny's. Was it Uncle Vinny's or something like that? No,
that came later.
Yeah, there was a guy who was on the Munsters.
Yes, Grandpa's.
Grandpa's, that was it.
And I remember going over there, and she said back then it was only $16. And I looked at the lady and I went, how much? She goes, $16. I said, why don't I get out of the car and bend over, and why don't you just fuck me?
Yeah. Well, it really pisses me off because honestly, see, I'm such in a serious mood these days, but it's such a financial discrimination because nobody can get to Manhattan unless you have money. My family's in northern New Jersey. Every time you go over the GW, it's what, 14, 16. There is no way for somebody to access Manhattan unless you have money. And it's so viscerally wrong. And who are these big fat douchebags sitting at their desks charging that much? Why? Why is that? Why does this keep happening? All right.
When we knew that toll booths were only set up to pay for the road, and then once it was finished being paid, they were supposed to be eliminated. Now they've always added more toll booths.
Right.
And now they're ninjas about it. They put the thing overhead without the toll booth. You don't even know you're getting a toll taken out of your Easy Pass until you get your bill.
Because you maybe didn't go through the right thing. You didn't have the Easy Pass in the fast lane. You don't know there's a thing because it's overhead, snuck up there.
We work in Florida.
Home too long.
You work in Florida and you rent the car, and then you don't take the Sun Pass. Yet you get your GPS to go to the Century Village in somewhere, and it takes you on that stupid turnpike, and then you get a bill afterwards. After you were 2 weeks after I rented the car, another $30 because I went through the Sun Pass and I didn't have the Sun Pass thing. It's like
you're charged by the rental company an extra $15 a day for even doing it.
It's not fair.
That's what made me think about the thing above, and you don't know it because I'm in Florida. What do I do? I don't understand where this toll is. I'm going to get a toll. Where's the toll? I don't know. I want to pay the toll. I don't know where the toll is. Then you
you have to watch for cops. You're trying to nail you with a radar gun. Now you got to watch for these toll booths that are sneaking out of nowhere. Either way, they're raping you. It's not good.
I got a speeding ticket here in Santa Monica, not more than 3 weeks ago. $366.
Jesus. Are you going to fight?
And I said to the cop really nicely, I was a gentleman. I said, officer, I just dropped off some food, a lie, at a friend's house. They're having some problems. I got a special needs daughter at home, a truth. And I go, and I'm rushing home to get with it because my wife tells me she's not feeling so good. He goes, good, give me your license and registration. He didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
$366. Now my insurance will go up. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I was in Rome and I rented the car, and I don't know what I did. I have no idea. It's all in Italian, my ticket, but I can never rent from Hertz when I'm in Europe. I don't know what it says. I don't know. My friend who lives in Rome, who's a comic from the States, because she married a guy from Rome. I'm like, what is? She's like, well, you're not allowed to make a left where you made the left. I'm like, all right, how do I pay this? She goes, don't worry about it. I'm like, all right, I don't even know what it says. You don't even know what you're doing wrong. I can never rent from Hertz, but they're going bankrupt, so it won't matter, right?
Oh God! Oh God!
Are they going bankrupt? Jesus, I didn't know that.
That's what I read.
J.C. Penney's is going out. Remember when we were kids?
Still here.
J.C. Penney's.
I didn't even know they were still here.
Nordstrom's. I heard there's a lot of and a lot of mom and pop stores are not going to be able to recover from this. And I'm worried about comedy clubs, you guys. I'm worried that because a lot of them are in malls, and malls were already in trouble going into this. So the Funny Bone chain and the Improv chain, a lot of those rooms are in malls, and I just don't know how they can survive. I hope I'm wrong, but I think we're going to see a thinning of the herd.
I got one coming up, a comedy club next month, and it's open. And I called them, and they said, "No, Bobby, we're all excited about you having it." Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the Comedy Cabana.
Yeah. Wow, really?
I was like, "When did you open?" They go, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's South Carolina.
They just did.
Right. Don't.
They're
just going to pray the disease away. I'm sorry, Mo. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. No, you guys. Rhode Island. I got it.
Talk slower. We're just a little slower. That's all.
No, you're not. Providence people are the best. Boston, Providence.
Right now in New York, it's the first phase opening, and performers are the last phase, the fourth phase. So like Broadway is committed to being closed through Labor Day. Who knows when we're going to go, but all these people who are like, I grew up in Jersey, open up all of Jersey. I'm like, whoa, calm down, lady. Don't speak for me. I want people to jump into the deep end of the pool first and let me know what's down there. And then maybe I'll consider it. I'm not some freaking idiot. I'm not seeing my father right now because I'm so afraid of bringing him anything. And
I'm afraid to see my parents too for that same reason. I was in Florida right before March 15th was my last gig at the Boca Black Box, Bobby. And I'm down there. I'm half an hour from where my parents live. And my dad's 96 and I can't go say hi to him, because I'm afraid that I'm going to be the Grim Reaper and bring him Corona, not knowing I have it. So I didn't see him.
Did you drive by and wave or sit out?
No, I didn't even go to their gated community. I was nervous.
The last time I performed was for Comics for a Cause at the Boca Black Box, March 12th.
Yeah.
Right? And you were coming in 2 days later?
Yeah, I was there the 15th.
Oh my God. And we did the charity for my daughter's camp at Comics for a Cause.
Well, the singer, the guy who runs the place, got threats during the day. They called up and people were angry at him for still having a live show that night. They were so angry at him, saying, you're propagating this disease and everything else. And they were like slamming him. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Cancel me. I'm fine. We'll blow it off. But he said, no, we went through with it.
Did it? No problem?
Nobody wore a mask, but people sat I wasn't a huge draw, so it wasn't hard to sit far apart. But we we had a good show. It was a lot of fun, and I love that room.
I did. I walked out and I said, "There's a virus, and we're sold out." That was the first when it was known. And I go, "Restaurants are full." I go, "I didn't have a mask on," so a lady gave me a Kotex pad with a rubber band. And and I go, "When I have to pee, you can't touch." So I was using my elbow, everything, and they were cracking up. But now that's old material.
I did my last two shows were the 10th and the 12th of March, and they were right before St. Patrick's Day, so they were all seniors. So there was one in Spring Lake, New Jersey, and one on Staten Island. Packed with the green stuff and and I'm like, are we still doing this? I mean, there was I go, there's like 385-year-old people and older. I go, we're doing this? Wow. They're like, yeah, hell, we're doing it. I'm like, all right, I'm in. I'm far away from all of them, but I was like, wow. I hope they're still alive, some of them. I mean, I hope some are still with us.
I'm a whore. I'll work anywhere. I'm worried about the cruise ship guys. I don't know if they're ever going to get back to work. We'll see what happens there. There are a lot of guys who just work cruise ships, and they're out of work for a while, I believe.
And I did a podcast 2 days ago, and remember John Farentino, the magician?
Yeah.
John does a podcast with a partner, and it's sponsored by the cruise ship, the cruise lines. So we were talking about when I did cruises and all that and how it's changed. And you were right. I don't know if it's coming back. That's going to be freaky.
I think it's going to change, and not to the comedian's benefit. I think they're looking for, first of all, you have to have the insurance that you needed to have until a few years ago. And they're going to ask you to do longer stays for a little less money on these ships because they took a beating during this, and they're going to try to have that trickle down to everybody, unfortunately.
I almost died when I found out some comics that I know, John Joseph, this one, that one, and all these guys that I'd seen, and they go, Bobby, it's changed so much since you did cruise ships. I go, how many shows do you do? We're doing like 11 shows or 14 shows for X amount of money. I go, you're kidding. I go like this. Yeah, I did it as I took my family. They gave us a suite, and then they also gave you a guest cabin for your kids and the girl that took care of them. And it was just fabulous. Oh, I'm going to take a zip, whatever it was. And everything was free.
Yeah.
And now I'm hearing things like, oh, they gave you a cabin down in the basement.
Yeah, that's what like steerage, because we're Irish. That's what they do. So, well, let me ask. No, it's true. It's true. But let me ask you this though: what is this insurance thing you have to have? I don't.
Well, that was Rich Seisler. I don't know if you remember Rich Seisler, a Boston comic years ago.
Yes.
He unfortunately passed away in the middle of a cruise, and they.
Did he?
Yeah, it was unfortunate. He had a weird kind of disease, and and he got off in I think it was Dominican Republic, some island down there that didn't have the greatest medical care, and he passed away. And it was the big arduous thing to get his body back to the United States. So now they call it the Seisler insurance, where you have to have this insurance that if something goes wrong with you, your insurance will get you the medical care you need in a foreign country and fly your body back and all this other stuff.
Wow.
But even in the United States, Vic Henley, God rest his soul, died about a month ago. They just got his ashes to Alabama like 2 days ago. That's how long it took for them to get the ashes from New York down to Alabama because of COVID fears and everything. Yeah.
But hey, I want to take this time at this point to thank you guys. Thank you so much, because this went by like that. And that's what it's supposed to do. So, Maureen Langan, how can people get in touch with you or go besides, I know that Hanging with Langdon, which is doing phenomenal on Facebook Live. Where else can people get in touch with you?
Well, MaureenLangan.com, MoLangan.com. I have a Don't Make Me Hate You store filled with items that say Don't Make Me Hate You, T-shirts and coasters, but it's very funny. Don't Make Me Hate You. It's a one-person show I was supposed to do in Edinburgh, so I turned it into merchandise. And my show is Hanging with Langan. It's a live talk show on Facebook Live, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific time, a mix of comics, great people, and you can just go to Maureen Langan on the Facebook and you'll find me there.
And Tom Cotter, who's got one of the most beautiful wives and funny people we all know. Tom, how can people get in touch with you, buddy?
I'm easy to find. I'm at tomcotter.com. And at Tom Cotter Comic on my social media. And I got the book Bad Dad. I got some Andrew Cuomo sent me some toilet paper for the quarantine. Life is good, and I really appreciate this, Bobby. This was therapeutic, so thanks for having me on. I'm honored.
And you can follow me online at BobbyCollins.com and at the Bobby Collins on Instagram. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Bobby's Viral Friends on Spotify, iTunes, or Google Play. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. And again, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Mo. You guys are the best.